Welcome to CEO Money. I'm Michael Yorba. Thanks for joining with us. I have Dean Gray, founder and CEO, Skylab's app. All right, Dean, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Great to be here.
All right, now, this is a burning question with me all the time. Why is social media starting to fail influencers and brands?
Sure. Well, 15 years ago, the world went online, and if you want to own a business, everyone learned they had to get a website. So a lot of people went and got websites, and companies like Wix and Squarespace have dominated that. They've helped 200 million people go online. But if you didn't choose to use a website, in the last decade, what's happened is people chose to use these third-party solutions like Instagram or Facebook. And the issue's been is they've built these massive tribes on these platforms that they don't own. And now with the ad apocalypse, censorship, the noise, the confusion, it's not working out for them the way they want. And in fact, some of the largest brands in the world right now, from Nike to Adidas, have pulled back all their major money from social media. And they've realized they don't care how many followers you have. What they want to work with micro influencers that might have 1,000 people following them. But when they tell their 1,000 people to do something, they do it because the engagement rate is extremely low. So two major reasons. One, engagement's really low now. Two, when you have 1 million people on Instagram, it's like being a millionaire monopoly. It's cute, but it ain't yours. And the bigger one is the censorship issue. So there's just been a lot of disrupt. So people have built these miniature empires, and they're going, my gosh, it's like being a rock star who realizes they don't own the label.
Now, that's a little ahead of the game for most people to get behind. And when I say most people, I'm not talking about the people in the micro tribes. I'm talking about the advertising agencies to get their heads wrapped around it, because I talk to these guys all the time, and they're like, how many followers are you talking to? And as soon as they ask me how many followers, and I know they're looking for a multi-million dollar answer, like 15 million, 20 million, I know they're not clicking in to the quality versus the quantity. And in my world, I'd rather have one deal maker talk to me than 1,000 tire kickers. And that's what you're talking about.
And the great thing right now is Silicon Valley is dead on with this. So what's happening from the highest level down, again, the major brands and the major investment firms have pulled back, and they're literally not falling for it. They don't want to hear millions of people. They want to hear you've got 1,000 to 10,000 people. So that's now working in our favor. And you're right, the agencies and the PR firms are having to catch up. So they're all looking for other ways to engage. I mean, it's all over. The YouTubers got hammered and Instagram got hammered. Like everyone's writing about it right now. So you're absolutely right, but that tide has turned in the last 6 months.
Okay, so we are way ahead of the curve by going out there, and that's been our whole mantra. Let's talk about this, turning fans into customers who are super enthusiasts. I call them advocates for the brand.
Perfect. Yeah, so what's happened is for anyone who is fortunate to build a following, whether an actor, athlete, model, Instagram person, or a brand, what's happened is a lot of people today, as you know, they join companies because they believe in what they stand for. So a lot of times, if you were to ask someone, do you want to be my fan? Or if you just want to be my fan, go to social media, because they'll always have social. Go to social media if you want to be my fan. But if you want to join my tribe or my movement, where I can train, track, reward, and incentivize you, where you can actually be a super enthusiast or a co-creator or a micro influencer, we're looking not just for customers and fans, we're looking for micro influencers to help us build our brand. Just think of it as if you were following a band as a kid and they would have offered you the opportunity to do something more than be a fan, you'd have jumped all over it. Yeah. And that's what's happening. So how you do it is by giving them behaviors on your own apps that when they do that, they can track it. Like, how about whoever referred the most people to our app in the last month, we get you backstage. Or we just did one with the cheer industry where the top 100 girls who referred people to the cheer apps, Gatorade takes them to the Oscars.
That's brilliant. Yes, you have to have interactivity. 12, 13 years ago, we had interactivity with our live streaming show, and I knew that was the wave of the future, and that's what I want to do it again. So you've got to incentivize interactivity with your evangelist, if you will, for the brand. Yes. VRS, next revolution in gamification.
Great. So what's happened is gamification is something that's done to you without you knowing about it. And there's gamification tactics that are used on any type of app or social site where you just get addicted and you're not even quite sure why. And so those tactics are starting to get a negative reputation as well, because it's sort of like stealing your data without asking your permission. VRS is called value reinforcement systems. And what that means is you join a community like, say, a Nike Fitbit, or something to do with a community where it says, these are the behaviors you should be taking, and because they're self-reinforcing systems, people will do them all day. They'll give you their data. They'll actually throw it at you and go, hey, I'm doing what you want me to do to be a micro-influencer. Please recognize me. So VRS is getting engagement and retention that's about 200 times higher than Facebook, and right now 6 times higher than Instagram. And brands are freaking out over it. And it's because it's based around your values and your common goals. And again, you're aware of it. It's very transparent. It's authentic. It's not done to you.
Right, I get it. Let's cover the gamification part of it, though. How is it that you're blending gamification into this to optimize the conversion and the engagement ratio?
So, for example, gamification, again, that's just a term that the tech world used to do what airlines have done for years. It's incentive-based behaviors. But now that they're based around values, so let's say, for example, I'll use the one we do for young athletes in the cheer industry. We broke up their behaviors to be a young cheerleader. There's 400 kids a day that join cheer. Be a better athlete. Here's the behaviors that make you a better athlete. Work out, go to the gym, check into practice. And when you can click that you've done those things, you're being a better athlete. The next one's be a better person. And we categorize them to where do your homework, do your chores, make your bed and photo verify it. And the third behavior is make the world a better place. Give compliments, stop bullying, recycle. And because you give these young children 3 different types of categories based around values, that's also gamification. And the results they're going bonkers. You have kids that are making their bed 100 days in a row, that brands like Puma are getting behind, going, when that kid makes their bed 300 days in a row, they're getting a free pair of tennis shoes. And now parents are going, you've got to be kidding me. You've got my kid doing things they're supposed to be doing. And so they have that same addiction they do to Instagram and not breaking streaks, but now it's the basic building blocks of life.
I was just having a conversation about having our advertising agency incentivize positive behavior with our shows. That's you reinforce my belief that that's exactly. The future. The other question that came up in a conversation I just had right before you came on the show, and that was valuation. Is there a way to quantify the value of owning your tribe?
Absolutely, and this is what I call the higher level conversation at the CEO boardroom level or VC firm level that most influencers don't understand, because they're just busy being an influencer as an actor, singer, fitness coach, life coach. They're so busy building their tribe, they don't understand that there's a formula to the exit strategy. And so to give you an example, a couple 100,000 people who do something once a month on a platform that you own, if you can prove it and track it, is worth $20 to $30 million all day long, because that's the money it would cost a company to go advertise to them through normal media. Now watch this. Same size tribe, a couple 100,000 people doing something once a day, not once a month, are getting valuations as high as $500 million to $1 billion. Slack, for example, only had 300,000 users when they were valued at $1 billion, because it is so rare. Most apps are horrible. They can't get people to stay on an app for more than 3 days. 95% of anyone who downloads an app deletes it within, within 90 days. So if you actually have retention and engagement, this is where you hear of all these apps getting acquired for billions of dollars, and people are going, what? I don't understand. How is an app suddenly worth 19 billion like WhatsApp? This is how. It's the money it would cost you elsewhere. So this is where you go to an influencer and you say, I love what you're doing, but you don't understand. If you're going to make it rain with web, TV, podcast, and radio, dear Lord, own a bucket. And the bucket is your own platform.
Exactly. All right. You know what? We've reached the end of our time today, but that doesn't mean we're done talking with each other. Dean, I want you to come back and start drilling down into these topics, because each one of these topics we covered today, you can carry on an all-day conversation with about
Right.
the do's, the don'ts, the hows, the how-nots on this stuff. So you've really hit the hot button with me today. I want to thank you for being our guest on the show today. All right, you've been watching CEO Money with Michael Yorba. Thanks for joining with us. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.